Good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day, and it's always good to be with you. And we'll just wait a moment or two and say hello. And the reason we do that is because we enjoy every one of you. Wendy, thanks for being number one on the hit parade this morning. Okay, and Francis, number two. Brahim, Portland, Oregon, good morning. Karen from Kincardine, Madeleine, bonjour. Mary, how are you? And Micheline, bonjour. Monette, bonjour. Cindy, and Zian, bonjour. Lenora, how are you? Thanks for coming on, guys. Suzanne. And it says, Greg wants to join me. Donna. Two Donnas. Frida. Good morning, guys. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Another Wendy from London, Ontario. David from Jensen Beach, Florida. How are you? Adeline. Cecilia from Sudbury. Mara. And Carol Ann. Elaine. Wanda from Virginia. Good morning. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, Linda. How are you, Linda? Suzanne. Carol from Newfoundland. I was waiting for Newfoundland to come on. Bonnie. Janice from Brampton. Sandy. Oakland, California. Well, good. Boy, bright and early for sure, Joanne. And Jocelyn from Baxter. Stephanie from Georgia. And Francis. Nick from our staff. You guys are great. Helen. Alliston. Elaine. Nice to have you on with us. Jen from Cape Breton. And Linda from Pennsylvania. Okay, let's get going. Edith, how are you? I got sort of a hodgepodge of just different studies I've looked at, and I'm going to talk about, we'll pontificate a little bit this morning on different ones. Here's one. If you have a cold, okay? So this is talking about if you already have a cold. Here's what they're saying. Eating sugar will increase the duration of the cold. Okay, that's interesting, isn't it? Good eating, even... Look, okay, I always tell people this, okay? People that tell me they never, ever get a cold or never get sick, well, good for you. But that's the exception, not the rule. I mean, 99.9% of the people, the folks out there, gonna catch a cold, okay? And I've always talked to you about your immune system. And there's always things that make you more susceptible to a cold, okay? One, vitamin D. Vitamin D. Any virus. Vitamin D is essential. Okay, so when they were clearing the beaches, remember that? It wasn't Normandy. It was the first day of the shutdown. I remember I was in Florida. They were shutting the beaches, and I was John the Baptist in the wilderness. And guys, I know why they did it, because they wanted everyone to go home and because they said it's going to spread. But I was trying to tell anyone that would listen, I said, listen, Linda, listen. The sun is the best thing to fight a virus. I was right. I was right. And the more, I was telling folks yesterday, because I have to do it almost every day, that people are always asking me, and it happened twice yesterday, actually on our private Facebook group, what about vitamin D? Well, listen, guys, there's a war on vitamin D. I'm sorry. It doesn't make it true. They just want to tell you not to be careful and don't get in the sun. And, vitamin D, the supplement, no good for you. And you're going to hear it over and over and over again because there's a war on vitamin D. So, to prevent a cold, vitamin D. 2, get some sleep. The connection between the immune system and sleep, cortisol, is incredible. Studies are confirming it, and I've been saying this for so long, just that if you don't get a good night's sleep, your immune system goes down. Okay? And then, this study is saying, well, if you already have a cold, what you eat is important. I guess when you don't feel good, you're probably going to reach for some of those crappy carbohydrates. But this study is telling you, don't do that. Don't do that. Because it's just going to extend the duration of your cold. Okay? So that was interesting. I found that interesting. And then I was reading a study, This is insulin resistance, so we all know what that is. Has a unique profile of creating 19 antibodies. Okay, what does that mean, doc? I don't want to get into the weeds, but let me explain as I unpacked this study. What it's saying is, when you have insulin resistance, now remember, insulin resistance is the root cause of metabolic syndrome. Insulin resistance is the root cause of metabolic syndrome. Metabolic syndrome, 93% of the population have metabolic syndrome, meaning that they are in trouble. They might not even know it. Nobody's told them. They're not listening to our podcasts. Because I talk about insulin resistance all the time. Cells become resistant to insulin, and the only way, we talked about 3 ways last week that can happen. Besides food. But primarily, why are people on the Titanic as far as their health goes? Because of food. Sugar, crappy carbs. Crappy carbs are made up of 2 bad things. They're going to be sugar rapidly, and they are made in bad oils. Vegetable, and far from being vegetable oils, but that's what they call them, are seed oils. Really bad. It gives you a double whammy. But let me get back to this. So insulin resistance is at the root. That's what they're saying. It's one of the root causes of antibodies being produced in your body. What does that mean? Well, that's autoimmune. Now, guys, if you've been around me long enough, you know the way I talk. Any autoimmune, okay? You want me to give you a list? Any autoimmune. Alopecia, ALS, type 1 diabetes, irritable bowel disease, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, MS, Parkinson's, rheumatoid arthritis, thyroid, Hashimoto's or Graves. Those are autoimmune. Okay? Lupus, chronic fatigue syndrome is autoimmune. Now, again, you guys have been around with me for a while. No. And anytime I talk about autoimmune, I talk about leaky gut. Okay? So, your gut has a barrier, or at least it should. But a lot of people have a barrier, but it's not working. It's like the southern border of the United States. Okay? Like, I'm not getting into politics. I'm just telling you what the truth is. Okay? People come across the southern border of the United States every day. I don't blame them. Okay? That's all I'll say politically. I don't blame them. If I could get my tail, I live down in the third world, and I could get my tail to the United States, I would probably try and do it myself. Anyway, but isn't that a good description of a leaky border? Well, that's what you have in your gut. You have a barrier between your gut and your blood. Blood should be pristine. Okay? Blood should be pristine. Why? It's the river of life. It goes everywhere. From your brain to your toes. You need blood supply. Brings oxygen. Brings nutrients. Brings healing. But what if garbage comes in through leaky gut? Okay? What can get in there? Well, bacteria, bad guys. Toxins that should have ended up in the toilet can come into your bloodstream. Yep. Yeast, I talk about this all the time. Fungus, candida, can get into your bloodstream and spread like wildflower. Okay? And so I always talk about that. Whenever I would see autoimmune, I'm aiming at the person's gut. And by the way, okay, let me just say this, because someone, it was on our private Facebook group yesterday, and maybe they'll ask the question on Friday and I'll go over it. I read somewhere that you shouldn't take probiotics. Okay, now, I love people questioning me. I'm in it. Question. How are you going to get any answers if you don't ask questions? So I never minimize questions. Remember, I did a radio show live for 20 years. People would call in. It was a call-in show. Very popular. And they would ask me questions. And I did my own, and I regularly in Windsor and that area with Lynn Martin, they would call in and ask me questions live. They weren't screened ahead of time, but I liked that. How do you think you're going to get info? Okay? So, but somebody said yesterday on the Facebook, I read that taking probiotics is not good for you. Now, see my face? My cortisol's going up. I wasn't angry with the person. I'm angry with the article they read. Ooh! I've been using probiotics for 40 years. And And they're good for you. Why? Because they help knit your border. They help block garbage from coming into your bloodstream. Probiotics do a lot of things. The more they study the microbiome, the more they realize what they don't know. And what did I read the other day? I think there's 1,900 in the last year. 1,900 new studies on the microbiome. And medicine, hello, I don't know if they're going to get the memo, but they should. Whenever you see autoimmune, whenever the body turns on itself, autoimmune, the immune system is wonky. It's not working right. It's turning on itself. Why? Look to the gut. Look to the gut. Leaky gut. And I've talked to you about this thousands of times. One of the biggest causes today of leaky gut is the destruction of your good bacteria caused by something that was supposed to save your life, antibiotics. It's a double-edged sword, my friend. I've been warning, screaming, shouting. We're overdoing it with antibiotics. They are everywhere. Everywhere. They're in our food chain. They are everywhere. Are you leaving the planet? You're not? Well, not soon? Good. Well, this is for you. You need to be on probiotics. I don't care who you are. And somebody asked me the other day, should I give them to my dog? And your dog. No, but we just live in that world, my friend. What can I tell you? What can I tell you? We live in that world. Okay? I wish we didn't have any chemicals that we were worried about. We didn't have to worry about antibiotics. We didn't have to worry about anti-whatever. I wish it were so, but it's not so. Okay? It's not so. So, what? So take your probiotics. I'm sorry. You know what? And people, well, you can take too many probiotics. That's a migraine waiting for it to happen with me. Why? Folks, we're not talking billions of bacteria. We're talking about trillions of bacteria in your body. You need balance in the bacteria. You're never going to get rid of bad bacteria. You know, people that use those antibacterial soaps, that gives me a migraine. You're stripping away even your good guys. You don't want to do that. Use the old-fashioned soap and water. Anyway. Okay, so that was all about the gut. Okay. You know me. I get on rabbit trails and it's hard to get me back. Okay? Now, but this study was showing that when you have insulin resistance, when you are a carboholic, my name is Tony and I'm a carboholic, okay? Reformed. Once you're a carboholic, you're always a carboholic. But I understand that. I understand my weaknesses. Okay? I understand that. So, discipline. But back to the study. Now, what they're saying is It's a huge factor in autoimmune disease. Huge factor. Leaky gut? Yep. And insulin resistance. Big. Why do you think I love the reset? Even more and more. I read this article yesterday and I said, man, oh man, it's confirming the importance of resetting the body. It will really help even in autoimmune. Yes, for sure. You want to fix that gut, leaky gut. Stop the leak. Stop those toxins from coming in the bloodstream. Regenerate your microbiome. Yes. Very important. But then, food. Lower insulin resistance. How do you do that? You lower your intake of carbohydrates. That's what creates insulin resistance. Okay? When we insist on eating carbs, bread, pasta, rice, cereals, sugar, sweets, pastries, bread, bagels, muffins, yada, milk, yada. Those cause insulin resistance. Why? Because your body gets tired of seeing insulin coming around the block all the time and headed directly for your house to knock on the door of your cells. And your cells eventually, you know what they do? Stop coming. But insulin, being a very bad neighbor, they're not listening, Linda. They keep coming and coming and coming. As long as a person insists on eating crappy carbohydrates that turn to sugar rapidly, it's just the way it is. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just telling you the way it is. That's how your body operates. And now they're saying that when you have insulin resistance, it creates antibodies that shouldn't be created. Look, antibodies, here's what an antibody is, okay? Okay? It flags things, okay? It flags things. So you eat something, your antibodies go, okay, let it in. That's a good guy, okay? But sometimes antibodies can get messed up and they flag good guys and they attach to them because they see them as invaders when they're really not. My friend, that's autoimmune. Always leaky gut. And new research is showing, always leaky gut, always. And number 2, insulin resistance. So fix your gut, repair the leak, replenish the bacteria, put the good guys in, replenish, plus eliminate carbohydrates. Totally? Well, yeah, for 30 days I would. You got any kind of autoimmune, your thyroid is into, Hashimoto or Graves, or your joints, rheumatoid, or hair, alopecia, skin, eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, digestive, Crohn's, IBD, celiac. Okay? All of those, they respond to two things. Fix the gut, fix the border. Okay? Do you like that? Fix the border. Okay? And fix food. Fix the food. It really works. Okay? So, I got all over this study. Okay? I got all over this study. Okay, just on sugar. We know that it puts your white blood cells to sleep. Immunity. Your white blood cells go to sleep for an hour. They have a siesta. You have sugar and your white blood cells fall asleep. Okay? You can Google this or go on YouTube and watch a white blood cell. I used to show my patients this all the time. Okay? Look at your white blood cell. It's chasing a bacteria. You can't see it chasing a virus. You can sort of, when you look at blood under a powerful microscope, you see the activity of your white blood cells. It's incredible. Okay? And they're like kamikaze pilots that are chasing. They don't care, man. They'll move your red blood cells. They'll move everything out of the way. I always find it fascinating. I never, ever got tired of looking at that stuff. I looked at that and I'd say, there is a God. That don't happen by chance. Okay? That's what I used to say. But I was always fascinated by white blood cells. They fascinated me. Okay? The different types and how they chase around. And if you gave the person sugar, how they would go to sleep. Like snoring within a second. Yeah. And having a siesta. But on the other side of it, you're eating sugar, your white blood cells go to sleep. Okay? Now your immune system going down. But when you develop insulin resistance, which is too much crappy carbs and sugars over a period of time, we all know what it does for metabolic syndrome. We all know what it does for cancer. We all know what sugar does for cancer. We all know what sugar does for heart disease. We all know what sugar does for Alzheimer's, type 3 diabetes, right? We know that. We obviously know what sugar does for diabetes. We know that. But we didn't know is that sugar flags antibodies. The body turns on itself and is a factor in autoimmune disorder. And by the way, autoimmune disorders are on like steroids, my friend, today. What do I mean by that? They're out of control. Look, I always sort of specialized in autoimmune. I saw lots of it. But because of food, because of leaky gut, It's multiplying. It's getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Not better. All the advancements in medicine, all the advancements in science, all the advancements of mankind, and yet when it comes to chronic disease, we're losing the battle. And I've always said it, it's because we're looking for love in all the wrong places. So someone gets autoimmune, what do? Steroids, prednisone. We better lower that inflammation. Yeah, I get it. You want relief, but that ain't fixing the problem at all. So, send this message out. Anybody that you know has any kind of autoimmune disorder, let them know. Let them know. Lovingly. Okay? Do it lovingly. Let them know. How about you listen to this podcast? Give a listen on the new research on autoimmune. Absolutely incredible. Hey guys. That was fun. I enjoyed every minute of that. Okay? Guys, we got a great week. What's Friday? Question and answer Friday. So send in your question. Like I said, I appreciate your questions. Okay? I really do. Okay? I want you to question. Okay? I want you to question. Okay? And, yeah, share this. Share the live. You can do that. Get your friends to join the, friends and family to join the Martin Clinic private Facebook group. Boy, we love that group. You guys are great. Okay? And as you can tell, I go in there every once in a while. Either to post something myself or to answer questions. I see stuff, or, my staff sees stuff, and they say, Doc, get in there and put your 2 pennies in. Okay. Hey guys, we love you. We'll talk to you soon.